Hello to my ESL through content class. Today we are going to be reading chapters 7 and 8. So 2 chapters today instead of just one. I know last week we had 2 chapters too. But I hope that you are doing well and that you are getting all of your work done. So let's jump in to chapter 7. And 7 is called What Can Countries Do? I'm on page 24. Okay. Scientists often meet and talk about animals in danger. Politicians in many countries are beginning to talk about this too. They ask a lot of questions, and sometimes they listen to the scientists. Who can hunt dolphins and whales? How many can those people kill every year? Can people buy rhinoceros horns? Is that right? Which animals are disappearing fastest? How can we protect them? Where is the money going to come from? These are some of their questions. So what can countries do? Here's one possible answer. They can open national parks. These are big and usually very beautiful wild places. Here, animals and birds can live freely, but they are also homes for trees and flowers. Visitors can go there and watch the animals, but usually they leave at night. They cannot hunt or take things away with them. The first national parks opened 100 years ago or more. These days, you can find national parks in most countries. They are very important because they protect the land and the animals. One of the first was in Gran Paradiso National Park in Italy. In 1800, alpine ibex were in danger because people hunted them for their wonderful long horns. They nearly disappeared from Europe, but King Victor Emmanuel II of Italy liked hunting the ibex, so his men protected the animals in the national park. There are now about 30,000 wild ibex in Italy, Switzerland, France, and Austria. Yosemite and Yellowstone are old and very famous North American national parks. Yellowstone National Park opened in 1872 and has a lot of animals in it. In 1969, the people of Costa Rica began to protect their land. There are now 160 different places for the protection of animals, birds, and trees. 27% of the country. 32 of these places are national parks. Some of the animals there are now extinct in other Central American countries. These places also help to help the people of Costa Rica because a lot of tourists come from other countries. The visitors want to walk through the trees. They want to see the animals and birds in their natural habitat. Their money helps hotels, shops, and the workers in the national parks. So just here is the alpine ibex, and here is a visitor in the national park. Politicians can find ways to stop hunting. They can stop the pollution of the rivers, seas, sky, and land too. People in every country are asking, How can we stop the pollution from cars and planes and factories? Let's think about our lives, our work, our homes. Our world needs to be a better place for all living things. In China, in 1990, there were only 1 million cars. In 2004, there were 12 million cars. But this is only 8 cars for every 1,000 people. In the USA, people are richer, and there are 940 cars for every 1,000 people. How many cars are going to be on China's roads in 2050 when the people of China are richer? The number of people in the world is getting bigger all the time. In 1850, there were 1 billion people in the world. In 1986, there were nearly 5 billion. And the last billion were born between 1971 and 1986. Now, there are 6.5 billion people. 1.1 billion live in India, and 1.6 billion live in China. Every day, hundreds of thousands of people are born. Can politicians change this? In the towns of China, most people can only have 1 child. In other countries, politicians are also calling for change. Here is a picture of pollution from factories. Chapter 8, what can we do? Can we help? Or do we leave the answer to politicians and scientists? Or can you and I change things? Some people help in important ways. Jane Goodall lived in Lake Tanganyika in East Africa when she was 26 years old. She wanted to learn about chimpanzees. At first, the chimpanzees ran away when they saw her, but after some time, they began to come near her. She gave them names. She watched them and wrote about them. She taught other scientists about them. Then she helped to protect chimpanzees and their habitats, and the habitats of other animals in East Africa. Dian Fossey went to Central Africa because she was interested in mountain gorillas. Mountain gorillas are big animals with long arms and long black hair. Scientists did not know about them before 1902. They only live in 2 places, and there are only about 600 of them in the wild. Diane worked with gorillas in Rwanda, and after some time, she understood them very well. But hunters killed gorillas because they get a lot of money for their heads and hands. When hunters killed one young gorilla called Digit, Diane was very angry. She talked to a lot of people about the animals, and money came to her from many countries for their protection. She started the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund. When you send money to the fund, you get a photo of your gorilla. And the fund uses the money to help the mountain gorillas. Diane was very famous after she wrote her book, Gorillas in the Mist. So here is Jane Goodall with the chimpanzees. And here is Dian Fossey with the gorillas. The book, Gorillas in the Mist, was then a film, and Sigourney Weaver played Dian. Someone killed Dian Fossey in Africa in 1985. Was it a hunter? Nobody knows. But Dian's work helped the gorillas, and now the number of mountain gorillas is slowly going up. We cannot all go to Africa. So what can we do? We can stay at home and give money. We can work for the protection of animals from our homes. There are animal charities in every country and they need help. The World Wildlife Fund, or WWF, has offices in 40 countries. You can give money or buy from their shops. You can learn about animals near to extinction. Then you can write to politicians and tell other people about it. You can also make changes in your life. The WWF tells you how. Pollution is killing animals. And a lot of pollution comes from cars, ships, and planes. So you can walk to work or school, or go by bicycle. Or can other people go with you in your car and leave their cars at home? Think about your food too. Do you eat a lot of meat? People cut down trees because they need a lot of land for their cows. Perhaps you can change and eat other foods. Think about other problems in your country. Do hunters kill animals in danger? How can politicians stop them? Perhaps you can write letters or talk to other people about these problems. Not everyone can make big changes to the world, but small changes by a lot of people can help. And your money can protect animals now before they are extinct. So here is a picture of the Great Gorilla Run, which is a charity event for the gorillas and for the world, for animals. Okay. And that is chapters 7 and 8. I hope that you are all healthy and safe, and I will see you next week.